Insert expletives here. Sit down. Good boy. So welcome back to MD Triple Creek. Today I wanted to talk specifically about shock collars. Shock collar I have right here. It's a sports dog brand. It's the one we run. It's the model SDT00 TAC 12490. So there you go. That's the model it is. But what I like about it is you can control multiple dogs with this one remote. So the remote has a little toggle switch here, controls blue collar or my orange collar by flipping it up or down. So I can run 2 dogs easily. Supposedly it can do 4. Not sure how to do that, never tried it. I only run the 2 dogs at a time. That should be more than adequate for most dog owners. Now, shock collars are controversial, and I don't know why. There's a couple of big pet stores that have stopped carrying them. You guys are nuts. These are training tools. This is not your one-all, be-all, but it is a wonderful tool when used properly. It's an easy tool to abuse, but used properly, you will get some great results out of your dog. And this is where it's controversial. This is just like spanking your child. For some reason, spanking has become, oh my God, you can't spank. You can only do positive reinforcements. Well, how do I positively reinforce my 2-year-old when she goes and bites her other 2-year-old sister? I mean, I got twin girls, they're 2. One bites the other. How do I positively reinforce that without spanking to say that is inappropriate behavior? No, a spanking is appropriate in that case. Positive reinforcement should be your go-to primary tool for raising children or raising dogs. I strongly believe that. And when a dog does something good, you praise them. You give them lots of love, lots of attention. But when they do something bad, there's got to be a command and consequence. There's got to be some form of consequence when the dog does something that they know is wrong. Just like our 2-year-olds, they know they're not supposed to bite sister, but then sister bites the other sister. There's got to be a consequence there. Otherwise, it's just going to become a bad habit and they're going to go to school as 4 or 5-year-olds and I'm going to have biting children. And I'm not okay with that. So negative reinforcement for negative behavior, I'm okay with. I think it's a good thing. But the line is you can't turn it into abuse. If I spank my child for everything they do, good, bad, otherwise, that's abuse. If I use a shock collar for everything, that's abuse too. So, I mean, it's that balance. You got to find the balancing act. And what a shock collar does is it gives you the ability to spank your dog when they are way, way, way over there in the field. Or if they're at a dog park and they're more than 5-10 feet away from you, if they're out of arm's reach, technically you have no control over them. But with a shock collar, you do. So let's talk about it a little bit. If you're new to shock collars, some things you got to keep in mind to keep it safe and healthy and good for the dog. One, it's a training tool. You put it on the dog when you're going to go train, or if you're going to go to a dog park or go on a walk and you're going to go outside of your house or your backyard and you want that level of control with the dog being off leash. Now, before you go putting this on your dog, some things I want you to keep in mind about the collar. How they work is you have these 2 prongs here. I hope you can see those. And they have little metal tips. Those metal tips are supposed to, the prongs kind of push through the fur, and the metal tips need to make contact with the skin. Actually do it. Go ahead and put it up to your neck, and so you can feel. Now imagine you're a dog, and you just got put to bed at night, and it's still left on. This is incredibly painful to sleep in. With it just sitting and hanging off his neck, this is nothing. But as soon as I lay on it or start putting pressure, it becomes painful. So if you actually put this on your dog and then leave it on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, what's going to happen is these smooth prongs are eventually going to create some sores right wherever they're at. And they're actually going to eventually break the skin and work their way in and get into the muscle. And it's going to cause an infection. And untreated, ignored, it could kill your dog. So I cannot emphasize enough. This is a training tool. You put it on when you need to, but it comes off. at least it comes off at night. So if you are crate training your dogs, this comes off when the dog goes into the crate at bare minimum. 6 to 8 hours wear time, not a big deal. 12 to 24 hours of wear time, yeah, that's a big deal. That's becoming a problem real quick. So when you put it on the dog, you want it snug but loose. I mean, it's very easy to over tighten these because, again, you need to get through their fur, but you don't want to be forcing it into their skin, because if you're jabbing it in there and cinching it down, that in itself is going to hurt. So you want it to where those prongs are just barely making contact with the skin and no tighter. So that's the collar. Now, when you're looking at what type of collar to get, what remote to get, this specific brand, the collar itself, when you first buy it, it goes through a setup process and it sets up to low, medium, or high, depending on your dog. If you have a medium-sized dog that's pretty well behaved, yeah, probably set it on medium, because you're not going to have to really hit him. If you have a hard-headed dog that just sometimes gets it in their mind of, I'm chasing that squirrel and there's nothing you can say to stop me, you probably want to set it on high. We used to have a husky, she used to be that way. Anything less than a high collar on 6 or 7 on the remote, she ignored you. She just didn't acknowledge your existence sometimes. So this collar is still set to high from her, which for Rollo, that's okay. He's not quite to that level of being hard-headedness, and he does respond really well. But every now and then, he does do his little quirkiness, and that's okay. He's a dog. He's a living being. He's a human. Well, he's not a human. He's a dog. But, you know, he kind of does gets into his own little moods and is like, okay, I'm going to do my own thing. And that's where this comes into play. Now, you should also be looking for a remote that has multiple settings. So on this remote, there's this little dial right here. I can set it on number 1, or I can go all the way up to number 7. Number 1, let's do that. Well, this is one of the things I think you should do. Before you ever put this on a dog, you should do this at least once in your lifetime so you understand the power you have over your dog. Number 1, I'm pressing and holding the button, which I don't recommend you do when you're working your dog. It's just a press and let go. Press and let go. Actually, it's a command. They're ignoring you. Press it and let go type deal. Level 1, I don't feel tingle, no pain. It feels like the remote control is turned off or something's not working. I mean, I feel absolutely nothing. And this remote also has a beep button. Hey, where are you going, Rollo? Yeah, you want to lay underneath me? Okay, whatever, that's fine. So if you can train your dog to acknowledge the beep, and I think that's what it was he heard that beep and decided he wanted to get closer to me, that's great. Then you don't ever have to spank your dog. You just beep at him. Let him know, hey, I do have control over you. I still exist. Level 2, I felt that. It didn't hurt, but I felt it. So what I'm saying is you should go through these, and if you can only tolerate level 4 or 5, you don't have to go all the way to 7, but you should go as high as you can tolerate, and keep that in mind of if you can't tolerate number 7, don't be hitting your dog with a number 7 on the remote, because it hurts. So with these collars, you want to start at lowest level and work your way up. So level 3. Level 3 is a weird sensation. It doesn't hurt, but it tingles. It's a really uncomfortable tingling sensation. And with Rollo, specifically him, and all dogs are different. Our Border Collie, level 3, it hurts her. She does not like it. She will, you get her on 2 or 3, that's as much as she will ever need. You don't ever want to go higher than level 3 for our Border Collie. Now Rollo, level 3 is what gets his attention. If he's doing his thing and doesn't want to pay attention to you, level 3 is where I start with him. All right, so let's just go through this. Level 4. Okay, level 4 is uncomfortable for me. So 3 and 4, that's where Rollo is at. I don't have to go higher than 4 usually. I think I've gotten him on 5 once. I think I've had to go to 5, but the collar might have been too loose that day. Okay, so that was 4. I'm procrastinating, can you tell? I hate this. I really do. I've done this a couple of times to show people, in person, this is how you do it. One, to make sure your collar is actually on and working. So, set it at level 2 or 3 to make sure, yep, okay, it works. But then go through it so you know how hard you're hitting your dog every time you push this button. Okay, level 5. I don't want to do this. Okay, that hurt, but it wasn't excruciating pain. But that one hurt. Okay. Number 6. 6. I don't want to do 6. I don't want to do it. All right, everybody watching this video, you better click like and subscribe and pass this video on because I'm doing it for you. I hate this. This is uncomfortable. Rollo, how about you not be underneath me? You're a goof. All right. You enjoying this, Rollo? You enjoying watching me zap myself? You're like, yeah. Yeah, it's not you getting zapped, is it? It's a good day for a Rollo. Okay, 6. I'm jumping before I even press the button. I was like, before I even let it, I took my fingers off. All right, here we go. I don't want to do this. I really don't. So 6, I started feeling it even in my elbow. I mean, it's just this tingling, painful sensation going up my elbow. So, Rollo, come. Good boy. You're okay. Yeah, good boy. All right, sit. Good boy. All right, down. Lay down. Oh. Okay. Yeah, if you haven't clicked like and subscribe to my channel, you better do it. Otherwise, you're a horrible human being because you're watching me go through pain and you're not giving me anything back. So come on, I'm doing it for you. So, all right, here's 7. Oh, I'm scared. I'm really scared. Insert expletives here. Oh, okay. So you really should do this once in your lifetime so you understand the power you have over your dog. And if you can't go past 5 or 4, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that because you just have to keep that in your mind of, oh my God, I could only tolerate level 4. So I should probably never exceed that. Now, when you're working your dog, you want to use the least amount of force possible to get the desired outcome you want. And really what you're using the shock collar for more often than not, in my opinion, it's the, hey, pay attention to me. It's that I'm tapping my dog on the shoulder type deal. So you're using the lowest levels that the dog can feel. So, and again, level 2, I could barely feel that. Level 3, that's where it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable but didn't hurt. So level 2 or 3, your dog may not even feel. If your dog has really dense fur and doesn't even start acknowledging the shock collar until level 4, then that's where you start. You start at that 3 or 4 range. So you start, if they're acknowledging you at 4, maybe you start at 3 or 4, where they acknowledge you or down 1, and you slowly go up. You don't just go straight to, I'm mad at you, so I'm going to get you on number 7. Because at that point, that's abuse. If you're using this out of anger, that's abuse. It's like, what you're really going for is that, hey, knucklehead, pay attention to what I'm telling you to do. Hey, you know how to sit down. You know how to lay down, just lay down. You don't want to be inflicting pain. If your dog is yelping every time you hit that shock collar, you have it turned up way too high. You should never hear your dog yelping in pain. Because, realistically, at that point, you're essentially kicking them or spanking them really hard. I don't have a problem with spanking a kid as long as you're not doing it out of anger and you're doing it because they did something drastically wrong, and it's that quick, instant, hey, you just bit sister, so I'm spanking your butt and telling you no. So, I mean, it's that level of, and when I'm spanking a kid, I'm not full on spanking them. It's that, hey, no, don't do that. So, like, I mean, I just hit Rolo. I hit him. It did not hurt him. That wasn't a hard smack. And that's what the shock collar is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, I'm inflicting pain on you. So, all you people that are leaving the negative comments in here, and looking at this in disgust of, oh my god, such a barbaric evil tool. Well, it's not if it's used properly. It's like a chainsaw. If I use my chainsaw properly, I can do a lot of productive good in a day. If I use it improperly, I'm going to lose my limbs. Shock collar is not quite that extreme. You shouldn't kill your dog if you hit them on number 7, but you could break them. You could definitely break their soul and break their mentality. I mean, if you think about it, if you give me a calculus book and strap this to my neck and say, do calculus, but you've never taught me how to do calculus, because I don't know how to do calculus. Every time I get a wrong answer, you just zap me without explanation. All you're going to do is make me angry. You're going to get frustrated. And eventually I'm going to shut down. And I'm going to start resenting you and hating you. And the more you do it, the more I'm going to dislike you. But if you give me that training first, and that's where I think the shock collar is key. If you have a puppy, this is not something you put on a 2-month-old puppy or a 3-month-old puppy. You have to teach the puppy things first. You put this on when the puppy is 6, 7, 8 months old or older, and you firmly believe this dog knows how to sit now. So now it's, okay, I've taught you how to sit by my side, so now we're going to work on the command, further away. And so you can be running around in the field, and if I say sit, that butt hits the ground wherever the dog is. So it's that level. Or you've already taught the puppy to come. Maybe you've already put the leash on your dog, a long rope, a 25-foot plus leash, and you've, throw the ball, let the dog run out, grab it, and if they start running away, you say the command come, and you gently pull the dog to you to teach it. When I say the word come, you come to me. But the shock collar, it's a tool. Again, just keep that in mind. If abused, it can be bad. I mean, this can quickly turn into doggy abuse. If I'm always hitting him every time he does something bad, that's the same thing as me kicking him every time he does something bad. Or even if you overuse it, it can be bad. But then, what level am I kicking him at? Hey, Rolo, look, I'm kicking my dog. And you can tell Rolo doesn't care. I mean, he really doesn't. So it's the level of force you use. And that's why having the dial on it, so you can pinpoint exactly how much force is needed for that instant, that is very important. I mean, I can sit here and kick Rolo like this all day, and I think he enjoys it. I mean, he doesn't look like this bothers him at all. But if I wind up to kick him like a football or a soccer ball, that's abuse. I think we can all agree that that is me abusing my dog, especially since he didn't deserve it. And I can't think of any instance that my dogs would deserve that level of a kick. I mean, just the, hey buddy, pay attention to me. That's what the shock collar is going for. I mean, it's not supposed to be a painful thing. So everybody out there that's leaving hateful comments and think that, using negative reinforcement is a bad thing, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I think negative reinforcement, there's a time and a place for it, but you as the dog owner, you have to have the maturity to understand what you're doing. And that's why, if you have a heart condition, don't do it. If you have a pacemaker, maybe this isn't a good idea. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So me telling you to do this, maybe it's horrible advice, but I strongly believe everybody that owns a shock collar should do it at least once and run through 1 through 7, ideally, so you understand the level of power, how much power you have at your fingertip right here. So, and it's just a quick press and let go. Because if you press and hold, that's probably the equivalency of you grabbing his ear or something, you just wrenching on it and twisting it and pulling and doing something horrible. It quickly becomes abuse. So, but, level 1, again, I can't feel it on its direct skin. Dogs have fur. sometimes these prongs don't always make direct contact with the skin. So where it hurts for me at level 4, it might be that sensation of, oh, okay, that's uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt your dog. So you got to pay close attention to when I hit this dog on level 3, you know, does it hurt him? Is he yelping? Is he acknowledging my existence? Because sometimes they might not feel it. So you just slowly go up to, okay, level 4, that's where that's where I can start getting his attention. And it's dog specific. If you notice that you hit your dog on the level 4 and they just scurry and cower by your side, you might have something like Ruby, our border collie, who she's a gentle soul dog is what we say. If you hit her too hard on a shock collar, and by too hard I mean 3 or 4, it pretty much kills her soul. I mean, 2 to 3 is as much as I can use on Ruby, you know, because she does not like the shock collar at all, and she will quickly shut down. So it's we put it on, we go for a walk, and I'll use 2 to 3, and I never go past 3 with Ruby. Rolo's 3 or 4, and I don't think I ever go past 5 with him. Our old Husky, she would not acknowledge my existence. I could yell, scream, throw stuff at her, whatever. She would just ignore me until I got her on 6 or 7. I mean, 6 is where I started. 7 is usually what it took to get her attention. And she was just a hard-headed dog of, I am going this way and you can't stop me. I am more than an arm's reach away from you, so I'm just going to go. And it didn't matter what level I hit her on until 7. 7, she would yelp, feet would come off the ground, and she'd be like, okay, yep, I'm coming back, I'm going to behave, and I'm going to listen to you now. So it is very dog specific, and you always want to use the least amount of force to get the action you want. Just like raising children, every time they do something wrong, you don't want to go straight to spanking. You ideally want to praise them so much when they do the right thing that you just have to look at them in a stern voice when they do something wrong. They're like, oh, daddy's mad at me. Okay, I'm so sorry. I will never do that again. That's the ideal world. But some kids, they don't care. I know some kids that you can yell at them all day long and they will just do whatever they want to do. And a light spanking changes it quickly and fixes it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see how much hateful comments I have, how much thumbs down. I'm just go ahead. Let's just thumbs down this video. Why not? Let's see how much hate we can get on it. But a shock collar does not automatically equal abuse. It's all on how you use it and the demeanor of your dog. So, and I can't stress it enough. It's the least amount of force necessary to get the compliance you want. So if you're getting the right reactions at level 2, great. You may never have to go to level 3, or you might have to go to level 3 once in the dog's life. So, and that's the thing is just because I use level 3 this time, 10 minutes later, I might not have to use level 3. You use the least amount of force, so 3 or 4. The dog does what it's supposed to do. Life is good again. 10 minutes later, dog misbehaves. You don't start at level 4 that time. You go back down to 2 or 3, and you work your way back up. That level 4 might have been all they needed, like, oh, okay, I got this shock collar on, I don't like that. But then, you know, they get in what I call kid mode, and it's just like, oh, there's a rabbit, I'm gonna go chase it. Maybe that time, all it's gonna take is a level 2 or 3. So just because I have to use level 4 or 5 one time does not mean I'm gonna have to use level 4 or 5 the next time. So it's important you find at what level does the dog start feeling the shock collar, and that's the level you start at every time. If level 2 is where they start kind of like twitching their ears, and they're like, oh, okay, I don't think I like this, that's the level you start at. So I hope you found this informative. I hope it worked out. I hope you got some enjoyment out of watching me shock myself. Honestly, this is not the first time I made this video. The wind was really bad last time, so you couldn't understand what I was saying. So this is actually like the 3rd time I've made this video. And I'm not going to make it again because level 7 sucks. Oh my God, does it suck. Oh, I cannot think of any dogs that are alive that I own that I would ever use level 7 on. I mean, Kia died a while back. And she was the only dog I've ever known. Out of all the dogs I've ever been around, she's the only dog that I've ever known that's had to max out a shock collar just to get her attention. I mean, literally, she would not pay attention to you sometimes unless you hit her on level 7. But an interesting thing about her, though, because she knew what a shock collar was in her final years, she was completely deaf. She could be this close to you, asleep. You could yell, scream, bang pots, pans, and nothing would get her attention. So when she's out here in the yard in the mornings, I'd always put the shock collar on her, and I would do a low voltage, just that, hey Kia, time to come inside. So I'd hit her on like a level 3 or 4, because she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just out sniffing, doing her normal doggy thing. And so, okay, all the dogs have come inside except for her, because she didn't see, and she doesn't know I'm yelling and screaming at her from the door. So I just hit her on a level 2 or 3 just to get her attention. Then she'd look at me and be like, oh, okay, everybody else is inside. I guess I'll come inside too. So there's a lot of good uses for shock collars. I think it is horrible that there is a push to get these things banned and lots of stores are stopped carrying them, because there's so many dogs out there where this is a game changer for the dog. It will take a bad dog and can quickly turn into a good dog. And I don't care how much positive reinforcement you do, there are dogs out there that just no matter how much positive reinforcement you do, you're gonna have to do some negative corrections from time to time. And that's what this is. So again, I hope you like this. Please thumbs up, share it. If you are new to dog training, shock collars, if you find some other good videos on YouTube, leave a link in the description. Maybe I'll tag them at the end of the videos as well, because this is a tool that you really have to have a good understanding of what you're doing. And doing it on yourself is a really, really good start, because you understand, okay, 4 or 5 really starts to hurt. Anything above 5, I'm really putting some strong pressure on this dog. Again, you're going for that least amount of pressure to get their attention. Hey, Rolo, pay attention to me. Do you see me? Hey, look at me. Again, I'm kicking my dog, and he's just playing with his ball. So obviously, I'm not kicking him very hard, right? So I think we can agree that me kicking my dog just now, that wasn't abuse. Me kicking him really hard, that's abuse. Same thing with the shock collar. Using it really low on 2, 3, 4, not abuse. Me hitting Rolo on level 7 every time just because I like to hear my dog yelp, that's abuse, and you're a horrible person if you think that's okay. That's my thoughts on shock collars from, just random guy on YouTube out in the middle of the country. So good luck to you, and yeah, if you have any other questions about raising dogs, leave them in the comments. I got this idea to make this video actually from somebody that was emailing us the other day asking us this. So, I'm kind of getting to that point. It's like, well, what do I make videos of now? So if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I might just make a video out of it. So good luck to you. No. Rolo, Stella, come. Good boy. Good girl, Stella. Good girl. One day that's going to be hot and it's going to hurt.